The Eastern Gray Squirrel. The Eastern Gray Squirrel is a common resident of eastern North America. Here in Alabama, they are everywhere. You've probably spotted one climbing a tree or darting across the road, and you may not have thought much of them. The lives of these creatures may seem fairly uneventful, but you're about to discover some of the truly amazing talents these small creatures possess. Eastern gray squirrels are incredibly intelligent and have impressive instincts that help them survive in the wild. Their form of communication with other squirrels is a point of interest and is complex and original, much like human language. We met with Sarah Wilson to learn more about these fascinating creatures.
So my name is Sarah Wilson. I am currently a PhD student in biology and a master's student in wildlife. Both of them are dealing with gray squirrels.
Let's not forget the important role these small mammals play in the environment around us. When storing nuts for the winter, they aid in seed dispersal and the spread of fungal spores, both common roots of plant reproduction throughout forests. One of their more intriguing habits, scatter hoarding, shows off the stunning powers of memory and navigation hidden inside the brains of these squirrels. Join us as we delve deeper and explore the rich inner life of an eastern gray squirrel. We can start by venturing into the annual or yearly habits of the eastern gray squirrel. Squirrels, like many mammals, have a particular breeding season or time of the year when they can birth healthy young. The mating of the eastern gray squirrel is polyandrous, meaning both males and females can have more than one mating partner during a breeding season. They do not form couples like most humans do. Female squirrels are reproductively mature as early as 5.5 months old, and males are usually mature by 11 months old. The mother squirrel can reproduce twice a year for more than 8 years. The process goes something like this. When the mother squirrel is ready to mate, she will find a secure tree. Then she will carefully line the tree with leaves and bark fibers. This is the nest that her babies will be born in. Each litter of babies has a gestation period of 40 days and usually produces 2 to 3 offspring. If you do the math here, a mother squirrel can birth around 48 babies in her lifetime. The young are typically born in late winter and midsummer. The baby squirrels come out of the womb blind and completely naked except for their whiskers. The mother squirrel will raise the young herself and defend the nest from any invaders that might come along. Weaning begins during the 7th week of the baby's life and ends by the 10th week. Weaning is the process of a baby coming off of its mother's milk. Shortly after, the mother will abandon the babies and they will begin to fend for themselves as they mature and develop into adulthood. As the squirrels grow, they will live in a sort of hierarchical system in which the older male squirrels are dominant. They form social groupings and live together like a sort of family. This is most commonly seen in the winter months, where several squirrels may occupy a single nest or den cavity. The typical adult eastern gray squirrel will be, as the name suggests, mostly gray in color with some silvery undertones. The head, back, sides, and feet are typically a yellow-brown. This mammal can grow to be anywhere between 16 and 22 inches and can weigh up to 2.25 pounds. In captivity, the eastern gray squirrel can live to be as old as 20. In the wild, however, they usually live between 8 and 10 years. This difference is due to the massive amount of predators squirrels face on their own in the wild. Some of the organisms hunting squirrels may surprise you. Extremely small, parasitic insects like lice, ticks, fleas, and roundworms are often the downfall of even the strongest squirrels nature has to offer. They are also vulnerable to animals outranking them in size. Minks, weasels, foxes, rattlesnakes, large cats, and birds of prey all pose threats. If under attack or in quickly moving from place to place, the squirrels can achieve speeds of 10 to 15 miles per hour. If necessary, they can even swim for several miles. Now that we know very generally what this animal is about, we can focus on the daily habits that make a squirrel so unique. You may wonder what a day in the life of the squirrel actually looks like. How do they spend their time? What do they eat? You could probably guess that Eastern Gray Squirrels tend to spend most of their time in the sky, perched upon tree branches. They'll only come to the ground in search for nuts and seeds early in the morning or late in the afternoon. This species doesn't hibernate, but individuals may stay in their nests for several days at a time if their habitat is experiencing severe weather. Food is provided during certain seasons through the form of buds, flowers, and tree fruits. Squirrels feed on acorns, nuts, and the fruits of oak, hickories, and beech trees. It is common to see eastern gray squirrels eating from dogwood, silverbell, and buckeye trees. They may also partake in mushrooms, corn, and insects when they are available. These staples provide year-round nutrition for the squirrels. During the summer months, their bodies can require up to 2 pounds of food per week. Because of this, it is more common to see squirrels scavenging when it is warmer outside. Scatter hoarding is an ecological phenomenon that takes place in many species and habitats.
What that is, scatter hoarders are animals that in times like fall, when there are lots of acorns and hard shelled nuts on the ground that won't spoil, they collect those and go and bury them. And then in the winter, when they have less food available, they can go find those buried acorns. And then that's what we assume they live off of those, since there's not really any other food available for them.
The eastern gray squirrel could almost be considered the star of this system. When it comes to communication in this species, the primary message a squirrel sends with its wagging tail is a warning signal. If they see something dangerous or suspicious, they will wag their tails to alert other squirrels in the area. They also use it to let their predators know that they've seen the danger, taking away the element of surprise. If the tail is trembling or shivering, that's another story. Squirrels do this when approaching members of the opposite sex to draw attention to themselves as a sort of mating ritual. The eastern gray squirrel can be found in a wide distribution of land, ranging from the forests of eastern North America, extending westward from the Atlantic Ocean region, all the way to the Great Plains in eastern Texas. Their range also extends southward from Canada to the Gulf Coast. Their distribution is closely related to the locations of eastern hardwood trees, like hickory and oak. They prefer to live in dense forests that provide them with plenty of housing and protection from their natural predators. Living in forests also helps squirrels to avoid human contact with automobiles, a very common threat to those living near urban environments. The population of eastern gray squirrels is on the rise, and it is not currently under any strict supervision in regard to species endangerment. In some areas, like national or state parks, these squirrels may be protected by the government due to the fact that they are an important game species throughout their occupied range. Eastern gray squirrels are important to the environment. They scatter nuts, serve as a food source, and are an enjoyable species to observe in the wild. To learn more about the eastern gray squirrel, you are invited to come to the Natural History Museum at Auburn University, inspiring an appreciation of nature and the environment so that we might better conserve it for future generations.